And we're live from the Trinity Home Advisors studio. Is that good? You like that one? Okay, Courtney liked it. She liked it, people. This is DFW Real Estate Weekly with Todd Tremonti. I'm Todd Tremonti, but we've got some others with us today. We'll do some intros here in a second. But what if I told you you could sell a house right now for the all-time high sales price? Would it blow your mind? Would it cause you to maybe get off the fence? Or would you say, nope, that guy's full of it? All those are possible options. You could respond in any way you like, but it is true that right now we are seeing many sellers, even though other homes are sitting on the market and not selling in ways that we hadn't seen in a little while. We are still seeing sellers that get it right break all-time sales records. Well, does that mean then that it's true that buyers are all getting kicked in the teeth again, like we did there post-COVID? No. What if both of those things could be true, Gibson?
They can.
They can be true. You could right now sell your house at an all-time high. Not everybody's getting that outcome, but that is possible right now. And you could turn around and buy a home maybe below appraisal value. Easily, he says, with the Todd Tremonti home selling team. We're a bit biased, but we'll tell you why. Listen, folks, it is possible. The headlines would lead you to believe that you might have to army crawl your way back from the battle of getting your teeth kicked in by this current market. We would tell you that the people who write those headlines are in a very different business than we are in. And we are in the business of advocating for our clients and our friends in DFW that want to buy and sell homes, many of whom have been sitting on the sidelines for 2 years or more, thinking that they can't, or feeling afraid or anxious to make the wrong decision. And we have been trying, Ian's been in the lab, we have been trying with data to tell you how to navigate this market. So today we're going to take a different approach, and we're going to do this through stories. We have got the one and only Gibson Aguirre in studio. Gibson, welcome to the show.
Howdy. Thanks for having me.
Sometimes known as Grady.
Sometimes, from time to time, more often than probably it should be, known as his counterpart.
G names are hard around this place.
Very tough.
Now, it's not just Gibson that we have with us. We have one of our all-time favorite show guests, the Mari Arstein, from the Fort Worth side of things, in studio. She brought all of her brilliance with her, and she's ready to share it. Or are you? I don't know, you going to hold any of that back, or are you going to share it with us?
No, I'm ready to share.
Okay, she's bringing the heat.
Does she load up all that brilliance in her car?
I don't know. She got to have a 3-seat vehicle for that, right? With a trailer? I don't understand it. We've also got the Yanni Donnie himself, the English wonder.
Yo!
Who's not afraid to tell you when he's right.
Yep.
And very quiet. I don't even know if he's ever been wrong. Gibson, what do you think?
Ever have been.
Usually shouting from the back. We've also got full price Courtney.
Woo!
Okay.
That was not very well timed.
For those of you on the YouTubes, she also dove in front of one or more cameras. Now, I don't know if you know this, but on page 21 of the Summer Fun Guide, full price Courtney wrote a whole spread about free summer outdoor and indoor activities. It's mind-blowing. It's a real brain bender that full price Courtney went with a no price activity article. And I'll tell you, it's a heck of an article. Get your summer fun guide at toddtremontiteam.com. Now, Ian, if there was a partner who had, say, participated with us for a decade or more on this show to help bring the first segment of each and every show, who would that might be?
Toddo, I'm glad you asked because...
Don't do that.
Don't like that one?
No.
Toddo.
Brainstorming. We're workshopping.
Made you sound worse than me.
All right, well, whatever. So, from the Trinity Home Advisors studio, let me tell you all about Patrick Gleros.
Nailed it.
And his team with ABC Bank. If you are looking to get a mortgage, refinance, you just have general mortgage-related questions, go to patrickgleros.com. You can start an application right there on his website, 972-386-1231, NLS number 308804, patrickgleros.com, or just go to toddtremontiteam.com, click on that radio tab for all of our recommended pros and vendors.
Listen, I thought you did a fine job.
Thank you.
Live from the Trinity Home Advisors studios, introducing Patrick Gleros as a decade-plus partner of the team and the show. The fact that the Trinity Home Advisors studio was an environment where you could do that so comfortably, I thought was excellent. Now,
it's never been as good a studio as it is right now.
There's no doubt about that.
As the Trinity Home Advisors studio.
Yeah, I think it's important that people know that the Trinity Home Advisors studio is named after Trinity Home Advisors, who does offer home warranties.
Courtney, how we doing?
And they do it differently than others. And there's no other studio like the Trinity Home Advisor Studio, especially with the amazing new neon signs we have on the wall.
Yeah.
But that's not what makes it special today. It's Gibson and Mari. All right, here's what we need to do. I'm going to give you guys a task. I'm going to just let you run wild because I know you both showed up tremendously prepared. The world has heard the data. Ian went into the lab. He came back with statistics.
So much.
We've told them about the only two even somewhat sustained periods of in real estate history in North Texas, recorded history, within our lifetimes, where values have even dipped down. We talked savings and loan, oil and gas bust of the late 80s, and we talked economic crisis, Great Recession of 07, 8, 9, where we had some kind of misleading statistics. Most of our market paused, but we had some 4 or 5% dips in a couple of pockets for a couple of years. Other than that, we have told people at almost no point in history has anyone waited on home values in DFW, and that turned out to be a good thing for them. And at almost no point has anyone waited to sell their home and it not been worth a little bit more. Now, there's exceptions to all that based on market conditions and hyperlocal locations and personal family situations and homes and things like that. But for now, tell me this. What is actually happening with you and your clients on the ground in DFW realistically? Now, I'm pretty confident that it's going to encourage our buyer and seller clients that they should probably get in the game if they're ready, if they're financially ready, if their family's ready, and if they want to move forward. We know for a little more than 2 years now, there have been a lot of people that wanted to buy or wanted to sell, but they didn't because they felt like they thought their anxiety, their uncertainty, their fear was telling them, don't get this wrong. I want to move and I could move, but I don't want to screw this up. What's happening really in the market that might help those people make a decision to keep waiting or make a move forward? What's happening with buyers right now, Gibson?
Lots of options.
Okay.
You don't have one choice. You're not rushed into a choice, and there is more inventory in most places than you would beg for.
Okay.
I would say.
Are we talking like scary inventory? Prices are tanking. There's too many houses to choose from. Or are we talking about like you have more than one or two options?
Yeah. You have one, two, three. I mean, I've got most of my buyers right now who are actively looking. We're basically considering 2 offers to a property and say, which is going to be more favorable for us.
Okay, so they're going out and looking at a handful, zeroing it down to a couple. There would both be good options, and now looking at which one would be the better strategic option for us.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's happening with multiple buyers right now.
3 to 4.
Okay, talk to me about what parts of town is that happening in?
McKinney, Plano, Frisco.
Okay.
The only other one off of that is Wiley.
Okay, so all those are places people really want to live, and their buyers have multiple options. And they're able to make both, I like this house for my family and for me and my finances, and I have enough options that one may be a little bit more price advantaged or strategically beneficial. So they're getting choices based on what they want and choices based on what may be best for them. Both right now in this market.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the level of competitiveness out there right now?
I think a property, if it's priced correctly, it's moving swiftly.
Okay.
In most cases, in most markets.
Okay.
But with that being said, I think that's an advantage for, again, I'm a buyer agent. I'm not going to speak to our sellers out there, but for sellers and being leveraged with a marketing team like ours, you are going to stick out because you are going to be priced correctly. And the humbling thing about this market right now is if you're a seller out there and you're priced somewhere where you shouldn't be, the market is going to correct you very quickly.
Yeah. So if you're a little overpriced, even if you're like, no, we'll come down in negotiations, you're going to get less showings.
Oh, right off the bat.
So you're not even going to have the opportunity to come down or meet in the middle. And then you're probably going to have to make a price reduction because some properties are sitting for a bit now. And then at that point, you're chasing value down. You're going to get lower offers. And so that's not a winning strategy. But a property that maybe is poorly marketed and priced low is probably going to get some activity right now. And buyers may have to compete over that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just confirming that.
I endorse that.
All right. Let's hand the baton off to Mari, also known as Mari Arstein.
My name is Gibson Aguirre, and I endorse that message.
Okay. Weird political take on that. Also, wasn't Gibson, but I like that you jabbed a little humor in there.
Also wasn't a Southern Georgia.
No, don't.
One second.
Oh, gosh.
My name is Gibson Aguirre, and I endorse this message.
Mari didn't have a headset, so she didn't hear the sad trombone I just played. But know that
that's probably fitting.
Yeah.
That's my Southern accent.
Okay, Mari,
thank you for the
guru of Fort Worth and beloved by all of her buyers, as is Gibson. What's happening? Yeah, it's a little different. What is happening? Is all of that true in Fort Worth?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's all true. So, like you guys were saying, for houses that are marketed well, priced properly, we're seeing multiple offers on a house.
Okay.
But if
like
it's not,
most of the time, if it's marketed and priced well, there's enough buyers out there that's going to be competitive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let me go to you, Mari, and then we'll come back to Gibson if you want. Give me like a real life story recently. Don't share too much specifics about client, but like what's a story of what someone has been able to achieve or not achieve based on the market conditions we just discussed. You have anybody that's out there getting a good deal, winning in multiple offers, or finding a home that's been poorly marketed and winning big because of that, where there wasn't a lot of activity or whatever. So any approach you want, we just want to give our listeners and our viewers the reality of what's possible in this market right now through a success story or a failure story, as compared to the data that we've been trying not to beat them over the head with, but give them an idea of what's possible.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a client who is looking for an investment property.
Okay.
And as we talked about, is like, if this is a good house priced properly, then we get multiple offers. Now, something that we did to think outside the box and make the numbers really work and be profitable is look into an assumable loan.
Yep.
Which I think in the past market, it just hasn't made sense because we had very, very low interest rates. And then in the last couple of years, they went up, and now people are willing to sell and have that assumable loan offered. So he was able to get a good deal on the house. Mm-hmm. Then he was able to get a really good profit margin with assuming that loan.
Okay, pause. For someone that really doesn't maybe know what an assumable loan is, what's the shortest, simplest definition you can give?
Okay, so you are taking over the loan that already exists at the existing interest rate, and the buyer is responsible for bringing the difference between the remaining balance of the loan and the purchase price.
So quick story time. Let's just say it was a $500,000 house.
Yep.
And let's just say your client was going to put 20% down. You don't have to, but let's say they needed to borrow $400. Mm-hmm. And the current owner still owed $300. But they got that loan years ago at 3.5%. Mm-hmm. So the buyer can take over the seller's loan for $300,000.
Yes.
At 3.5% and get that old rate.
Yes.
Now they still need to go borrow another $100,000 to make up the difference for how much they wanted to borrow. And they might do that at a current rate of 6.75 or something like that. Mm-hmm. But blended together, they've got that house at like 4 or 4.25%. Which is not at all possible right now in almost any other way without having a ton of cash.
Right.
So this is not a story that a lot of people are telling right now. So we as a team talked about that. You were able to go locate a property that had an assumable loan that your client wanted to buy. Mm-hmm. And I'll be careful, somewhat have to educate other agents and sellers and your buyer, but you were willing and capable of doing that with the team and resources and your hustle. And so your buyer was able to get a good deal on a house anyway, plus an otherwise unattainably low mortgage rate.
Yes. And
you were able to negotiate the seller to do some other favors for that buyer on that house.
Yes.
And now your buyer got like a 2021 rate on not a 2025 house, but a house in 2025 at like a 2023 price. 2024 price, something like that, a little below market value. Mm-hmm. Got the sellers paid for some things, for them. Yep. That's a massive win that people don't talk about a lot. Now, that's not going to be an outcome that works for everybody every time.
Sure.
But if you have a great agent like Mari, you can have a chance at finding a situation like that. Go ahead.
Question on what you just said. So it sounded like two things happening, right? You're going to assume the $300K in this example.
Yep.
Was already there, and then you're going to borrow another $100K.
Yep.
Are they two separate loans?
Yes.
Which one gets paid off first? Is it the higher rate one, the lower rate one? How does that work?
So first of all, thank you for raising your hand. I appreciate your courtesy. Second of all, in almost any situation, the loan that you take over that you assume would be in first lien position. So that's the primary loan. The second loan you go get would be in second lien position. There is a scenario where somebody could maybe recast the first loan, or the same lender might offer you that second loan. But most of the time you're going to go get a separate loan, and it may even be at a slightly higher than current normal rate. But because of the low rate of the one you're assuming, blended, it's still totally worth it. And then you would have whatever your cash down payment was as well. So yes, I think is the right way to answer that is yes, that's how that would work. The other part is normally the smaller loan that you need to make up the difference after what you assumed would be at a slightly higher rate, or just be at a more current rate. There are times where if that was a very recent deal, you may be able to assume their loan for, you may not need another loan.
Yeah. You may not need a whole bunch of cash. You may
Whether-
only need 20%.
Yeah, whether you had cash down or not, they may just owe so much on the house that that's all you needed to borrow. So that's kind of a figure it out later. But the principle here is that Mari was able to go create an unbelievably amazing outcome for a buyer in the last couple of months in this market in DFW. Totally real. All right.
If you have not checked your home insurance or your auto insurance recently, do so by reaching out to DP Lambert and his team with Goosehead Insurance. dp.lambert, Lambert, dp.lambert@goosehead.com, 214-614-8595. Look, he has saved us thousands of dollars over
So
the
many
years.
times.
See
So many
what him
times.
and his team can do for you. Reach out to DP, dp.lambert@goosehead.com.
All right, Gibson, what's realistic? What's happening right now with real clients in the real world that other people can understand as possible?
For the listeners, I did raise my hand.
Yeah, no, I appreciated your courtesy as well.
I was
It
hoping I'd
wasn't
get a-
as needed as sometimes it
Yeah,
is.
You know, sometimes I'm not trying.
Oh, sorry, we had a weird microphone malfunction. Back to you, Gibson.
Okay. Most recent closing of mine, just last week, it was actually a double side transaction. So this is a family that is a client of ours selling their property and also purchasing with myself.
And they got a specialized agent on each side of that. So you were on the buy side.
I was on the buy side. Jeremy Payne on our team helped them sell their property.
Love it. Dynamic duo.
Dynamic. So in this scenario, it was a pretty unique one, I would say. Their potential property that they were looking to purchase dropped in price significantly. And so because of that, sorry, I believe that was my phone.
Okay. Hey, listen, it's tough to be that popular, you know?
So anyway, their potential purchase drops in price. Well, we are contingent of the sale of their property, and they have a buyer who has been interested in their house, but is dragging their feet. And so Jeremy and I, more so led by Jeremy's end, is thinking, hey, let's do a reverse offer. Yep. We're not going to publicly change the price on their house, but we are going to reach out to this buyer who has visited twice now, cannot pull the trigger, and offer them an incentive so that they can get a rate buy down. It was a 2-1. I think at the price, it was somewhere between like a $15,000 incentive that we were offering.
Yep.
But we presented that offer to that potential buyer.
Right.
And then they accepted, and this got the ball rolling. We were able to go put a contract out and get this property that they were going to buy.
So pause for translation on this story as well. The technical nuance of that actually isn't as crazy as it sounds, but basically what happened is because our client had a specialist on the buy side and the sell side who were working together, they had two world-class professionals, each 100% focused on one side instead of one, normal professional partially focused on two sides. That's like a 5 or 10x benefit, if that math makes sense. One person distracted and split attention versus two world-class full-time specialists, each hyper-focused and working together. So all that said, you two were able to figure out, even in a scenario where we've priced and marketed a home really well, and we've got someone interested but not quite ready, figure out a strategy that because of the big win opportunity on the buy side, we were able to be a little more flexible on the sell side and basically deepen negotiations with somebody that we were already in communication with to compel them to buy faster than they otherwise were at a favorable deal to everybody, so that part went away, satisfied a contingency, basically allowed them to be open to go and get this really great deal that you guys had figured out on the buy side that had lowered in value. So they were able to get net a better overall deal and get the house they wanted, which they otherwise couldn't get without selling theirs. So like multiple check boxes, multiple links in the chain, multiple dominoes had to fall, and you two were able to get together and make all that happen. So what was kind of the outcome of all of that?
Total outcome, obviously they sell their house. The net sheet was more profitable than it was prior to looking at the buy situation before the price reduction and selling at what they thought was.
So if they had gotten the house they originally wanted at its original price and sold even at their original price, they would have netted less money than the net.
Per our new circumstance that we did. But long story short, back end, we are reaching the end of closing, and their purchase property appraised for $30,000 north of what our contract price was.
Time out. Mari, can you help on that? What does that mean? The purchase price, the property appraised $30,000 less than the contract. What does that mean for these people?
That's incredible, because that means when they move in, they already have $30,000 worth of equity in that house.
That means they paid $30,000 less than a neutral third-party bank appraiser said it was worth within a couple of weeks of when they closed.
It's as good as cash.
It's different, but I like the quote. Okay, back to Gibson. All right, so I'll brag on you. So what you're saying, and you gave Jeremy a bunch of credit because on the sell side for sure he killed it. But by working with our team, that client got two specialists who were able to navigate both sides very strategically to be able to sell a house in a market that most people would say right now is really tough to sell a house in, and buy a house that somehow people are also saying is pretty tough to buy in at favorable rates, favorable prices, and walk in $30,000 below current market value with favorable terms elsewhere as well. And did they hug you, kiss you, shine your shoes? What did they babysit your kids? How did they
send you anything?
What did they say?
Yeah, everybody in my house got a gift from them.
No way. I was kidding.
No.
That's incredible.
They gifted my girls. They gifted Christina. They gifted myself.
So they got it. By the way, not all clients fully understand that. Some of this just sounds like realtor speak. Okay, you did some hard stuff and it worked out for us. But like they understood because they saw the original price and they saw that the home hadn't flown off the market. They watched you guys get strategic, get an offer executed quickly, go get a house below asking, and then they saw the appraisal come in that they had huge equity.
And they liked the pairing of you so much, they gave you nicknames, correct?
Yes, they did. They gave us
for public consumption.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They gave us custom stickers because at the time, viewers will notice that I currently don't carry a mustache any longer.
Yeah, that's a big deal. It's a big change.
We have stickers that are custom made by our client that said Stash Bros.
Stash Bros. Round of applause for the clients. Not so much the mustaches, but for the clients that acknowledge the Stash Bros and memorialized it in sticker form. What have you done with your stickers?
I haven't used any of them. Maybe some poles around town.
At some point, it could go on the back of Ian's car, is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. At a time, he's, sore subject. Okay.
But no, these clients, we will continue to do live with these clients. They are incredible. They're awesome.
It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Hey, let me just say one thing. If you would like a story like that to be your story, this is happening day in and day out with the full-time, world-class, fully dedicated real estate agents on the Todd Tremonti home selling team. Yes, I'm Todd. I'm biased. But I've gotten to hand select these people and help train them alongside Ian and our other leaders and see the integrity and the intensity and the care that they work with, and that their trophies of success are not normal real estate trophies of deals and dollars. They're these success stories of their clients. These are the badges of honor. If you want one of those stories to be your story, give us a call, 214-310-0008 or online at toddtremontiteam.com. Welcome back to the Trinity Home Advisors studio. We're working on that. We're working on our delivery on that. Trinity Home Advisors studio. Hey folks, we're talking DFW residential real estate. This is DFW Real Estate Weekly, and if you ever miss a single second of this show, whether we are on the tracks or off the rails, you can catch that wherever you get podcasts. DFW Real Estate Weekly with Todd Tremonti, a very, very long name for a show, but a very easy one to find, and that's why we did it. So whether you're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or any of the YouTubes, plural, you can find episodes of the show. You can find bonus segments and episodes as well, and hundreds of educational real estate videos. Some of them including the English wonder himself, the Yanni Donnie, the full price Courtney, the Gibson or the Mari.
Hello again.
There he is. He's always making a smooth entry. You know, Mari, it's always very clean. Listen, we've got a lot to cover in this half of the show, so we want people to know that we are here for you. If you have a question or a comment or you need some clarity or a recommendation, 214-310-0008. By all means, if you're thinking about buying or selling a home before the end of summer, I don't want to alarm you, but that timeline is already fairly tight. If you have not begun that process, we do not want you to have to make a dangerous, impulsive decision. But if you need a couple of days to think about something, make a wise choice, begin to shop or begin to prep for market, get a property on market, get it under contract, start looking, get it under contract, have time for all the processing, inspections and appraisals and surveys and things closed, funded, moved in, and settled before the end of summer. It's a matter of days of margin, of buffer right now. Again, not intended to alarm you, but if you want to do that safely, that's a conversation we need to have today. We need to have that conversation like in the next 24 or 48 hours. 214-310-0008. We are more than happy and often do tell people, great, I'm glad we had this conversation. Now's not the best time to move forward. But you don't want to have that conversation and now be a good time to move forward, and you've put yourself in a jammed time scenario where now you have to make an impulsive decision. So I don't want folks having to do that. Call now. You can never start this conversation too early, but sadly, most people start the conversation too late and they have fewer options. Doesn't mean you can't be successful. They have fewer options, less flexibility, and a little more stress and anxiety. Does that sound right to you, Gibson? Yeah. Sorry, wrong mic there. Does that sound right to you, Gibson?
That sounds correct.
Mari, am I making all that up?
You are not making it up.
Okay, so we've got 3 people confirmed, and to be honest, Ian literally walked out of the studio. So no one knows he may be shooting dice in the hallway. Who knows? All right, folks, if you do want to buy or sell a home this summer, really call or text 214-310-0008 or
TouchYourMoneyTeam.com.
And that is not what my son sounds like anymore. He's got a very deep 15-year-old voice. That was probably 12-year-old Carter.
TouchYourMoneyTeam.com.
A little bit sad every time we play that. But you can go to the website at ToddTremontiTeam.com all day, every day. You can fill out any form, call any phone number, text any phone number. No one's trying to beat you over the head with sales, but it is most likely to be wise to start any real estate conversation now. And then you can make a move whenever you want, whenever you're ready, but you'll be fully prepared, sleep well at night, knowing that you're prepared. We used to say sleep like a baby, but this is not a sleeping baby sound. It's a bumbling baby sound, but Courtney's real proud of it.
And so babies don't sleep great.
We used to say sleep like an old person, but that doesn't sound kind. So we just don't say that anymore, except the fact that I just did. All right, folks, here's what we've got. First half of the show, we gave you success stories. We want you to know statistically what's possible. We want you to know some real life stories. Jeremy put 5 houses under contract this week. Homes are selling. You know, I think John had 2 just over the weekend, and had 7 appointments this week. Does that sound right? With new sellers. So listen, things are happening. Don't sit around believing a headline that tells you something's not happening. Things are happening. Don't get left out. Don't get left behind. Now, Mari, how good is the summer fun guide this summer?
Oh my gosh, it's incredible.
It's so good.
So good. And I've gotten so much feedback from people that they all love it.
I like it. I like that kind of feedback. Okay. I know we have a park feature in there. Mm-hmm. What does that even mean? And tell me what you love about it.
Okay. Well, I'm a little biased because I wrote it, but
it's okay. Courtney was biased last week about the one she wrote. So carry on.
Okay. Well, I don't think people think about parks and lakes when they think of Texas, but they exist. There's some really good ones here.
I'll go so far as to say most people pay taxes to allow for those things to exist and never use them.
Yeah.
There's like, public stuff. I don't really take advantage of it. Tell me why I'm wrong.
Because they are awesome. They exist here.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you guys have a copy of your summer fun guide, it's on pages 9 and 10.
And if you don't, you go to ToddTremontiTeam.com. There's a banner across the top where you can get one completely for free in about 12 seconds. Back to you.
Yeah. So pages 9 and 10, we're talking about some parks. Now, there are more lakes than this. There are more parks than this, but we being Jeremy and I, just chose our top 5 of ones that we just wanted to make note of and make you all aware of. So there's some that just have some incredible events going on.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got music bingo in the park. They've got
music bingo.
Yeah.
I want to go to that. Which park? Which park?
That would be Clyde Warren Park.
Ooh, Clyde Warren is the most unique park I've maybe ever been to in my life. It's on top of a highway.
Yeah.
I've never I know there are others, but I've never been to another one. And it's so cool.
Yeah. It's not that, lost in nature feel, but it's when you go, you can, congregate.
Yeah.
Do fitness classes.
Kids stuff. There's like nice restaurants and patios. There's goat yoga from time to time. And apparently, Gibson, I don't know if you knew this, music bingo.
Music bingo.
It's a big deal. Okay, that's Clyde Warren. Yep. And I guess your spread, your article here is basically about don't overlook all these fun activities to do in the summer.
Right.
So when would you go to Clyde Warren Park? I can tell you when I would go. Morning time. I would go in the morning.
Because it gets hot in the
afternoon.
afternoon.
It's a little toasty, and also it's on top of a highway.
Yeah.
So it's like extra hot in my opinion. But in the morning, we have it's been a while now, but when our kids were little bitty, we did the play area on the side with all the wires and rails and the climbing things. Mm-hmm. And then we would go get a food truck snack or a coffee or whatever over there. And it's pretty one-of-a-kind situation. Yeah. All right, what else?
So maybe go to Clyde Warren Park in the morning and then go to Burgers Lake in the afternoon. It's all the way in Fort Worth.
Tell me about this one. I don't know this one.
Okay, so it's hidden. It's hidden in Fort Worth, but it's a big man-made lake. Well, I say big. Most
lakes in Texas are man-made. We have to
sounds
confess.
delicious.
We have to admit this.
Well, they might have some burgers there. I don't know.
Wow.
But they've got like a trapeze that you can walk on, and they've got bouncy things. It's a play place.
So it's very active. Fun by the water.
Yes.
Okay. I'm into it. We'll have to check that out. I have a gift card for a restaurant in Fort Worth, and I've been saying for a year that we're going to go over there. So we need to go. Maybe we'll check out Burgers.
Check out Burgers Lake. Yeah.
Sweet.
And you can bring some chairs. They've got hammocks.
All right. Give me one more.
Okay. The other one I'm going to pick is Lake Louisville.
Okay.
That one's on a map, so it's a little easier to
Most people have heard of Louisville Lake or Lake Louisville. I will say my wife takes the kids, even now when they're bigger kids, to the beach. At Louisville Lake, which everyone calls Lake Louisville. Yep. You can rent boats out there. It's a big lake. It's an active lake, so some people will kind of say it's a little too active for them. But my family loves the beach. I know folks that will rent like party boats out there and do the slide stuff and all that.
Yeah, well, and they have Party Cove, where people bring their boats intentionally to just listen to music
and just be real responsible adults and do classy things. Yeah, it's very buttoned up. Yeah. Okay, now there are multiple others in your article that we didn't have time to talk about today. So people need to go to toddtramonteteam.com, the very top of the page, whether you're on mobile or desktop or laptop, whatever. There's a green banner across the top. Click the button, and we will literally email you a digital copy of the Summer Fun Guide. If you are a past client, a referral partner, a friend of the show, friend of the team, Todd Tramonte Home Selling Team, you should already have a print copy of these. We are rapidly running out of print copies, but if you don't already have one and you would like one, just reach out and ask for one, and we'll put it in the mail to you. Call or text right now, 214-310-0008. The Summer Fun Guide is jam-packed of so many other amazing things to help you have a great summer, and it's completely free to you. Not to me. We spent thousands of dollars making it. Literally want you to have a great summer. Obviously, at some point, if you buy or sell a home, we would love to earn your trust and be a company that you use to do that. We don't think anybody can come anywhere close to us, but feel us out. Check it out. Let's talk. 214-310-0008 or toddtramonteteam.com. Banner up at top. Get your free summer fun guide.
Do I get to talk about what I did at some point?
We'll see. TBD. Okay. I'll check with Gibson. We'll get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe towards the end of the summer.
Okay, thank you.
Now, what you can join us in talking about, Ian, is whether or not we have like a decade plus partner of the show that helps make this show possible.
You want me to tell you about Patrick Gleros?
I would love it. I would love it so
much. Live here from the Trinity Home Advisor studio.
Please do.
Patrick Gleros, my friend over at ABC Bank. He is our go-to person for mortgages, refinancing. We've told you about him for years and years and years. Just a wealth of knowledge, not just him, but the entire team. PatrickGleros.com is where you will go to start an application. You can call him at 972-386-1231. And as always, his NMLS number is 308 804.
That was so well done from the Trinity Home Advisors studio.
I am on fire.
By the way, we were kind of joking the last couple of weeks about the studio name because we have an incredible new transactional partner, friend in the business, and obviously sponsor Trinity Home Advisors. They are a home warranty company. And so if you're not really familiar with what home warranties are, most people aren't. Even people that have had a home warranty aren't really familiar or aren't really thrilled with home warranties because often, here's what it is. It is kind of like an insurance policy, but it is not an insurance policy. It's a little warranty policy on the basic systems in your house. Most people that have had one in the past didn't really love it because they felt like they paid or someone else paid for them to have this thing. It didn't cover everything, and sometimes when they wanted it to cover something, they denied coverage. The reason we are really excited about this partnership and keep saying their name so much is because they approach home warranties differently. They're going to help you maintain your property in a way that A, you won't need the warranty as much, but B, when you need the warranty, they will actually take care. They will honor the warranty because they have helped you maintain your property in a way that the warranty is still in place and nothing is voided. One of the criticisms of the home warranty business is that you have a warranty, you call them, they come out and they tell you your warranty's not in place because you didn't maintain your home well enough to keep the warranty in place. So Trinity Home Advisors has a system with some great technology and some great staff to help you, remind you to do the things to take care of your home so nothing breaks. And then if it breaks, they go way out of their way to make sure they care for you and take care of those things and fix those things and solve those problems for you. So trinityhomeadvisors.com or go to toddtremonti.com, click the radio tab, and their information is on that page. They also are the namesake of our studio here in the Trinity Home Advisor studio. Now, Gibson, I got a quick question for you. I'm going to go to Mari mostly on this, but what do you know about HASLET, Texas?
Is it Alliance?
Yeah.
Alliance. I've heard.
Say
of
with
it.
confidence, buddy.
No. That's what I know.
No, this was a standard DFW real estate with Todd Tremonti. Got you a question. Gibson specializes on one side of the metrics. Mari specializes on the other. We set this up so Mari could be the guru and the pro. But HASLET's a very cool part of DFW. If you haven't heard of Alliance, it's like its own world. It's like its own community. Mari, how would you describe Alliance Town Center specifically? Because there's more to Alliance than just that town center. But how would you describe that?
I'll just say it has everything you need and it's constantly growing.
Yeah, it's like tons of awesome restaurants, lots of great retail, groceries, like the stuff you need, the stuff you want, stuff you never heard of before. Like it's a very robust retail area surrounded by a lot of business.
Yes.
Right? Like industrial, shipping, manufacturing, airport stuff. This is a region of DFW that has had tremendous investment from major development, major corporations like Amazon doing big time development and things. So HASLET has a lot more to it than just retail and industrial, but those are some of the things that come to mind when people think about HASLET, Texas. It's a popular place to live, but because of so much of the commercial development and commercial activity, that's what I think a lot of people associate with HASLET more than neighborhoods and things like that. But I would tell people it's over by Southlake, right? So I live on the Dallas side, although I know that side fairly well. How would you describe HASLET to folks as far as a resident that's thinking about buying a home there?
Well, so with the proximity to Alliance is it's close to Alliance, but it's not in Alliance, which means you can it is more neighborhoods and it is more newer. Built a lot of communities, new build communities are there, but you can still get a little bit of land.
Yeah, I would say, tell me if I'm wrong, you can get a little bit more house for your budget than other parts of Fort Worth or Dallas. Sure. Certainly a little more than like Southlake itself.
Oh, yes.
Or, similar areas. Now, I would think of it as what I call like a neighborhood community, a bedroom community. Most of it is actually houses because it's surrounded by so much of this commercial development and retail and stuff like that. So HASLET, if I'm thinking of a house in HASLET, what's my general price range there? Like what's available to me?
Well, obviously depending on size, but I would say 400 to 450.
Yeah, that's kind of, I would say the entry level, you could probably find some houses that are a little bit below that, but not a lot of them. Yeah. There's not a ton of property below 400K in HASLET anymore. And you could find some very nice multi-million-dollar homes there as well. So there's the whole spectrum. But that entry point for most of what's selling in HASLET right now is high threes, low fours, mid fours.
Yes.
And there's a lot of property in the 4, 5, 6, 7s, right? And then you can certainly go up from there. Northwest Independent School District. And from what I know about it, people tend to feel pretty good about that school district, right? They like moving there to be in those schools. There, you mentioned you can get a little bit more land. There's more like acreage property in HASLET than there is in some of those other surrounding areas. Is a little further out, and so in my mind, you're west of Southlake, north of Fort Worth, maybe Hare Northeast. Does that sound right?
I would say Hare Northwest.
Okay, Hare Northwest. Yeah, I've been there many times. I'm picturing it on the map, but I'm going to my guru to be clear.
Well, northwest, like north of Saginaw.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so I'm thinking lots of like half acre and 1 acre properties, but I know there's a good number of 2, 3, 4, 5 acre properties as well, right?
A handful, yeah. And I think because it's being seen as, oh, we want to move there, I can afford more house for my money, then we're getting the master plan communities in there as well. Right.
There's less of the larger lot acreage because it's being divided and being developed. And so there's some beautiful homes out there. A lot of that is in the last 20, 25 years, right? Massive, recent, fast growth.
Yes.
Right. And that's true for the houses and a lot of the retail, right? There's a lot of new, clean, nice restaurants and drive-thrus and stuff like that, right? So you kind of have it all in that HASLET area. What are some other things that buyers or sellers talk about when they want to move to HASLET or they're considering HASLET? What do you think?
I think because it's just past the outskirts of Fort Worth, you can still have an easy commute if you're getting into Fort Worth. But it gives you, you're not in the hustle and bustle of everything.
Yeah. From my perspective, when someone says, hey, I'm moving to Fort Worth, HASLET is not one of the communities that's at the very top of their mind. But once they start surveying the area, people are like, oh, HASLET's something we should go look at.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I think of Keller somewhat similarly. Like people from other parts of the country aren't like, oh, we're moving to Keller. They move to Fort Worth, and then when they start shopping around, they're like, oh, Keller's pretty great. I think of HASLET that way. Like people, I don't hear much negative about HASLET ever, but it's one of those suburb type communities that's really blown up recently, hasn't necessarily like blown up on the national stage, but in the realm of living on the Fort Worth side of things is a great place to live. Lots of activities, lots of outdoor stuff to do, so close to so many really nice surrounding communities that in almost any direction you go, there's great stuff to do, great places to go, entertainment, food, parks and rec, all that kind of stuff. So HASLET, Texas, folks, if you're from the DFW area and you're not as familiar with it, might be something you consider next time you make a move or next time you're out and about and exploring. If you're catching maybe the podcast or you're not local and you're thinking about a move here, it's a community on the Fort Worth side of things that you really ought to take a look at. And I think you would really, really appreciate. So let me ask both of you a quick question. But before we do that, Ian, what about DP Lambert? What am I doing? Who am I calling about insurance? What kind of insurance? What's going on there?
You know, if you want to have a little chinwag maybe about home insurance or auto insurance.
Chinwag.
That's who I'm going to call for that. Have you not heard that word before?
No, I'm not up to speed there.
Little chit chat.
Yeah. That's probably something that he originally learned from.
Hi Ian, it's Mum. Happy birthday, lots of love. Enjoy your day.
It's my dad's birthday this past week.
Ian's mum. Okay.
Anyway, DP is the guy that you want to reach out to for his in his team for your home insurance, auto insurance. Reach out to DP, dp.lambert, Lambert, dp.lambert at goosehead.com, 214-614-8595, or just head to toddtremonteteam.com, click on that radio tab, and you will find all of the recommended pros and vendors that we talk about here on the show.
I would imagine the response rate to that live read is at an all-time high because of the injection of Ian's mom.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll try.
Appreciate you calling him mum as well.
Yeah. No, I've never referred to mine as that, but yours obviously.
That's how it is.
Folks, if you need home and auto insurance, let's be honest. He's who I use. He's who you should trust. dp.lambert at goosehead.com. Now, question for you two generous visitors. You've been on the team for different amounts of time, one on the Dallas side, one on the Fort Worth side. We are looking to hire up to 5 people between now and the end of the year. We need at least 2 of those people on the Fort Worth side and 2 or 3 on the Dallas side in our Richardson office. So no prep, no outline here. What has your experience on the team been like, or why would somebody want to join us?
Do you want to be great? Do you want to be held accountable at what you do and have a lot of fun and choose to do life with the people that you work with outside of the building that you happen to come to work to?
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah. And I would say, as an owner who's desperately trying to create that, we're a values organization. We want to help people in the biggest decision-making moments of their life, primarily real estate. But when we do that, we end up getting invited into marriages and parenting and education and family and crisis and the biggest celebrations, marriages and loss of a loved one and growth of families and all these things. And we care about that stuff. We want to have eternal impact. We want to have lasting impact. But we're also not apologizing that we want to make great money and we want to lead in the industry. So if those things are attractive to you and you have never gotten into the business, or you've gotten into the business in the last couple of years and you need a little bit more leadership and guidance and you want to run with some other people, we'd love to have you. Call or text 214-310-0008 and you can just say, want to talk about the team or apply. 214-310-0008, or you can go to our website, toddtramonteteam.com. There's a careers page with a very simple 3-step process to apply. Now, Mari, what's it like to be on the team, and why do you think people maybe should consider working with us?
Well, because of the culture, because of the values, because of the accountability that Gibson just talked about, it sets you up for success. It's so different from any other brokerage. It's one of a kind. So you really get that support that you need to really launch your business, get it off the ground, and then maintain just success with it. Whereas not other brokerages are like that. They're either too big, or they just don't have the capacity to do the training and all that comes with that.
I agree, and that's a huge encouragement to hear you say that, because we've been trying to build that for 20-something years. But it also sounds like exactly what somebody would say if they were trying to recruit. So you have actually worked at another brokerage. A big brokerage. You don't have to say who or where, because you're not bad mouthing, and it was a good experience. But you can say from experience that not everybody's going to lead and mentor and guide and feel so connected and cared for at your best and worst and resourced and trained and equipped. And then I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I know you have valued the access to other agents all over North America, and feel free to jump in, Gibson, as well, and how that's helped you grow in your career and see your future long-term and want to stay someplace that cares for you and wants you and your whole life to be successful. Does that feel accurate?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if that's attractive to you, if you think, hey, I'd like to get my real estate license and sell homes, or I've thought about that before, if people have told me I could be good at that, or, hey, I've tried this and it's not working in my current situation, give us a call. 214-310-0008, or go online to toddtramonteteam.com and you can click the careers page, and there's a very simple 3-step process for you to apply to join the team. We are loving the team we've got, but we would really love to add 5 more people before the end of 2025, probably 2-ish in Fort Worth and 2 or 3 on the Dallas side in our Richardson office. So holler at us, 214-310-0008. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, especially if you're thinking about that before the end of the summer, but anytime in the next year or two, give us a call. We'd love to set you up with a free strategy session. If you're in the Fort Worth area, ask for Mari. We'll get you plugged in. If you're over on the Dallas side and you connect with Gibson at all, ask for him. We'll get you set up with him as well. 214-310-0008 or online at
toddtramonteteam.com.
And if you don't believe anything we're saying, or you just want to confirm it, Google us. Find over 800 5-star reviews. See what other people think. We'll connect, get you a free strategy session, and we'll go from there. toddtramonteteam.com.